I'm so excited seeing all of you here. It's really powerful to be in the company of so many people. Because this is really not just about what we're against, the pipeline. It's about what we're for, right? It's about community. It's about caring for one another. It's about an Iowan value that I grew up with that was really important to my family and my community, neighboring, right? And looking out for our neighbors, whether they're the Rogers family or whether they're the folks up in North Dakota and South Dakota who are facing the impacts of the Bakken boom, whether it's people in Appalachia facing mountaintop removal, all forms of extractive energy, right? So I wrote this piece for Fracture with my good friend Anna Kruzik, who was also a graduate student at Iowa State University. She's here in spirit and solidarity today, but she's now working in California, so she could not be here with us. But we were, as young activists, younger activists, and as women in a lot of activism, we saw a lot of challenges and hardship that just engaging in activism is really difficult for a lot of people for many reasons. And so we wrote the sort of piece that we wanted, that we felt we needed to hear as women engaged in activism, as our friends maybe needed to hear as women engaged in activism. And we really intended for this to be the start of an ongoing conversation as something that we can share together and change and revise going forward, because we're doing work that we haven't seen what it's like to have a world without extractive energy, right? We don't know this reality, those of us here. So we're working on something we don't know yet. And so we wrote this as a start to a guide together, as a collaborative piece. And we opened with this quote from Arundhati Roy: "Another world is not only possible, she is on her way. On a quiet day, I can hear her breathing." Provisions are what you'll need to get started and to keep you going. A tribe, your sisters, your brothers, your elders, your allies. Find them next door, find them far away. Commune with them, practice. Together you will hold one another accountable, find strength, heal wounds, laugh. You do not do this alone. You do not do this as two together. You do this as many, as more, as a growing movement. Inspiration. What we are trying to do right now has not been done before, is unfinished, is underway. Something to inspire the unknown is necessary. Love. Yes, you hate the destruction, the exploitation, the commodification, the corporation, but it is because you love this fierce world, your beloved's place in it, the challenge that comes with the change, the hope that you might make it better, to make it just. Rage. Righteous rage to fuel you to say the things they say you shouldn't, to stand up in places where they say you can't. Most importantly, to build the fire to bring others in. Rage to tell the polluters, the manarchists, the doubters, the compromisers, the profiteers, the tycoons, Halliburton, ExxonMobil, Energy Transfer Partners, Mayflower, Bridger, Sandpiper, no more. Memory. Honor the countless before you whose names you do not know, whose names were not recorded. Remember the trafficked, the silenced, the vanished, and the forgotten. The crusaders and the truth speakers, carry them with you. Feel their weight not as rocks carried on your back, but hands pushing you on, pushing you further, pushing. Think of this as a birth, a becoming, the beginning. Risk. What you are doing now has not been done before. You do not have a guarantee that what you're doing this time will even work. But you do know your rage and your hope will drive change. It has to. Those before us gambled on a future that couldn't be predicted. As a result, people of color, women, Native Americans, LGBTQ, those with disabilities, and others have more rights and respect than they once did. Though there is so much more to win, you're doing that now every day. Step 1. Build community. Build community with purposive inclusivity, but go beyond inclusivity. Meet people where they're at, and create space for people to make their own connections. Move beyond teaching rhetoric and talking points. If we put our hearts into building relationships and real coalitions, we are doing more than just fighting the pipelines in our backyards. We are standing against the commodification, exploitation, racism, capitalism, and patriarchy. Use your local values as tools. Find those values that enable you to say no to the proposed pipeline, to extreme energy, to the colonization of our future. Most importantly, say yes to neighboring, livelihoods, family, values, love. Together, build a new narrative, amplify it. Don't be afraid to privilege the voices that need to be heard. Live and learn in your narrative together. Step 2, move beyond the here and now. Reach beyond your local context. It's not just one pipeline, it's all pipelines. It's the oil industry. It's commodification, exploitation, racism, capitalism, patriarchy, destruction, war. Victory does not come when the pipeline project moves or is shut down. Winning is bigger. If your pipeline is stopped, we're still facing total destruction or almost total destruction. This is about generations from now and the world in which they will fight and love and eat and pray and at night dream. They are your light. Follow them, forge the paths to reach them. This is not a political campaign. There is no single target. Though we don't know exactly how we'll win, we must trust that today's, tomorrow's, and next week's struggle will get us there. Connect to existing regional movements, build real coalitions united by hope for the future. A farmers' organization protects their agricultural heritage and legacy. A religious group works to stop the human trafficking in the Bakken region of North Dakota. A neighborhood alliance forms to preserve landowner rights. A grandmother's organization, of whom we have some here and with us, presses for protections for future generations. Students call for divestment from the fossil fuel industry. We've got some Grinnell students here too. You may not all agree with the path forward, but you all believe in a shared future. There is we and there is us, and these are built stronger from each unique story, challenge, perspective, journey, and life. I, me, and my are important parts of us, but there is no alone. Step 3, and this is the really hard part, a lot of us know. Care for yourself. You will work with people with more privilege than you. Sometimes they will be people you respect, admire, and learn from. Sometimes they might take credit for your work, steal your thunder, take up way too much space at a meeting, yell at you, question your identity and experience and lived knowledge. Expect this because it will happen many times. Don't question yourself because of it. Privilege and its associated authority doesn't grant omniscience. Do not apologize for their privilege. Step aside, not back, to let them leave or pass. Apologize, forgive. You will make mistakes and so will others. You make them out of anger and frustration and fatigue, out of privilege or habit. Others will too. It's no surprise that we are anxious, intolerant, allergic. Our earth is sick, poisoned and grieving. Focus on the work, on what you must do today, tomorrow, next week. You will need to change, to shift, to slough off the 8 layers of what they said you should do and who they said you should be. You have not been trained to do this, no one has. It's hard and it hurts. You will fail and try, and sometimes you'll get it right. Let it go and keep going. Do what inspires you and drives you, even and especially if it requires checking out. Stepping back and caring for yourself is critical. This struggle is centuries long. It could outlive you. Checking out to feed your spirit, to find validation or encouragement, whatever that looks like, enables you to continue tomorrow, next week, next year. See provisions. Step 4, imagine the impossible. Be brave enough to believe in the world your heart knows is possible. It is okay that you don't know what it looks like or how we'll get there. Learn from those before you, those with you. Remind yourself we have not yet known a world without exploitation. But somewhere deep in our bones, we know that we will find it or build it. Trust that through the undoing, the dismantling, the collapse, we will learn to remake and we will remember to question, to honor, to debate and disagree and yet come together again. Share this, post this, highlight and cross out and revise this, make it yours. A guide is a living thing, evolving as we learn and know and do better. There are wrongs we have not even learned to see yet that have not yet been named. There is so much more to learn, to change, to do. Thank you.